gentlemen, we've got the pre-1930s tractor parade that's now taking place. Although they're going down the opposite side, I'll start straight away so we don't hold them up by the microphone on the opposite side of the magneto, because the electric don't like the sparks and impulse of the magneto on these tractors. So that will tell you why I have to change the side. The first one is the Brumley oil pool. Exactly what size it is I can't tell you at the moment, but Brumley, a power maker from LaPorte, Indiana, and the engine itself is called the oil pool because it runs on oil. It uses oil for lubrication, and it also uses oil for cooling. There's a pump on there which pumps the oil round to keep it cool. The exhaust pipe goes up the middle of that to draw cold air into the bottom and pours it out the top. And obviously, the harder the engine works, the more air it draws. They were later taken over by Alice Chalmers, and Rumley had a set up of dealerships all over America which was second to none. And obviously when Alice Chalmers took them over, they gained all these dealerships, and prior to that Alice Chalmers hadn't had any. They sold everything direct from the factory. All their products went direct. We've now got the International Type, 2 cylinders, 2 speeds, water cooled. We've got the water tank on the front, no fans, no radiator, as you would expect. Now these came over from America during the first, was involved in the gas attack or anything in France during the First World War. They were sent back to Blighty, and they were put on these to recover because they thought the fresh air of the countryside would go on. The 816 version doesn't have any mudguards at all. Now just imagine sitting on that for 8 to 10 hours a day and going up the field. It really would be an ordeal, but at the same time, it was better than walking behind Dobby. And that's about all you can say. I'll have to go to the other side of this one. Now this one is the Massey General Purpose, the Massey House General Purpose. A very early four-wheel drive. Yesterday I think it was one of the first four-wheel drive. And then we have the Nelsons in there, which is obviously one of the earlier than this one. We've got a 4-cylinder side-valve Hercules engine in here. It's one of the first of the Massey General Purpose tractors. Quite a good tractor at its time, but being four-wheel drive, it made it quite a bit more expensive, so therefore it was for the more well-to-do farmers, possibly the owner-occupant, the smaller tenant farmer. He had to make do with the Fordson, which was so much cheaper. And then we have the overtime. Let me just think about it. The Waterloo factory, Waterloo engine company in America, and it started off as the Waterloo Boy. Now the Waterloo company was taken over later on by John Deere's, and the original colour was yellow wheels with a green bodywork, which John Deere's retained to this day. This is the Model N version, which means it's got 2 gear engine in here, as all John Deere's were, right up to the early 50s. And this came over and it was repainted with a grey tank, various bits of grey and red on it, and was sold as the Waterloo Boy, a very well respected tractor. Another Bromley oil pull, the same remarks as before. It burns oil to power it, it's lubricated by oil, and it's cooled by oil. And this one is the 2030, which means it's got 20 horsepower on the drawbar, 30 horsepower on the belt. Now for a small tractor like that, that may seem quite a powerful machine, but it's a very heavy machine, so it'd be quite capable of achieving those horsepower rating. Once again, 2-cylinder and horizontal engine. Thank you very much. The cooling, as I said, that's just a tower there with copper tubes running through it, and the exhaust goes up through the bottom, straight through it, so that when the tractor pulls hard, it obviously, and there we have it, correct, a much greater cooling system. Now this is the JI case tractor they're offering for the period, certainly not the smallest one they did. This is an 1832 version, petrol TB01, and the feature of the case was it has what they call a cross motor. In other words, the motor is mounted east-west as opposed to north-south. On here we have got the cooling system where we've got the fan in the front, fairly big engine mounted crossways on, as I say, which means we haven't got to have a 90-degree bend in the power, because the power is being transmitted the same way as the wheels are turning, which makes the transmission a little bit cheaper. The idea of the eagle on top of the globe, that eagle has got the name of Old Age. So if anybody starts talking about Old Age, you know they're a case man. You wouldn't get a modern tractor to run any better than that. We've now got one I don't know so much about, the Renault version, the French one. The rear wheels on this one are 40 wheels, and they're put on the same way. It's a 6-spoke wheel, somewhere 1920-21. The cleats on it are much deeper than the ones that they put on the Fortune, therefore in soft ground it really does chew the grass and the ground off. And you will also notice that we've got the radiator at the back of the engine in front of the driver, so that on a cold morning that's working hard, generating a bit of heat, it's much better for the driver. In the summer, well, vice versa, not so good. And now we've got a tunnel underneath. What are you trying to tell me, James? I've got it all wrong again. Where's Mr. Desborough? He loves it when I get it wrong. The air goes in the radiator that way apparently, and then it goes down and out the tunnel underneath the driver. So he's still got somewhere to put his feet on a cold morning, which is nice and warm. Now we saw earlier on the Hoyt tractor, where we do after. We've now got the mobile tractor, which is the 816 smaller one, known as no mudguard. The 816 on the 1020 version they did have. This one is a single cylinder, single speed. It drops away like you can hear it now. Whether it's under load or not, the engine note hardly varies. We've got a single chain drive this side, and in the centre of that sprocket is the diff which transfers the power between the two rear wheels. And as I said about with the Titan, these were used as well in the war effort to get food production up, and the army personnel were detailed to drive these. The Fordson Model F here. Now this was produced in 1918 right up until mid-1920s. This one is one of the 1920s versions because we've got 7 spokes in the rear wheel. We've got the sides of the radiator are now filled in. The original one had squares cut out of them, which they call ladder sides. The ignition system on this tractor fitted to the flywheel of the tractor, which as it spins, it creates electric current, which then feeds the coils in the little black box start to fire the ignition. Incidentally, when I say about the flywheel has got, I don't know how many, but a number of copper coils fitted to it, so that as it revolves, it creates electrification when it goes by the other part of it, which is sealed onto the bell housing. What else can I tell you about it? It's a special 1001. It's not the latest one because it's got a separate pepper coming from the far side, which pepper is used to start in to want somebody suitable on the farm. And there wouldn't be many farms where there was somebody suitable because all the chaps had gone over to the continent for the war effort. Thank you very much, sir. Last but not least, not last but not least, we've got the Austin. This is Herbert Austin's contribution to the agricultural tractor scene. He's got one very similar in layout to the Fordson. As you can see, unit construction again where the engine and gearbox back axle all bolted together to form the backbone of the tractor. I think we've got 4 speeds on this one, where we've only got 3 on the 40. Poor old Herbert Austin, he couldn't complete this course, not quite. So it didn't really get going in this country. So he then up sticks, takes tractor production over to France, and of course the French government look after their manufacturers far better than the British government did do, and I suspect will do in the future. But there we go, that's a political thing, we mustn't get into politics. But this is the French one. French one have got this extra bit on the front of the radiator, which makes an egg-shaped bit on there, whereas the English one doesn't have that, it's just got the plain radiator. Very nice to see it, thank you very much, and apparently in this country. I've been asked to remind everybody that after the tractors in the next thing will be the pre-1930 cars. Now if you're involved in those, you've got one, you're responsible for one, can you get to it so that we can have a car? Now the second tractor here will be the most economical tractor that's come around this ring today. I don't know how much fuel it will have used. It used 2 gallons trying to start it because fuel didn't come into it when that tractor was made. But let's start at the beginning. At the front here we've got the E27 27 horsepower which it originally had. And I don't think he dare stop, look, he's struggling a bit. Hang on, you've got it, that's it. Where have they got to? And Ing was the designation given to all the Ford tractors. They all end in N. That's better. We've got this one has gone that Mr. Desborough, he loves these old Gardner engines and he fits them in everything he can. This has got the 4-cylinder Gardner engine in it, far superior to anything that was ever offered in that, because there's Perkins B6, Perkins L4, you could fit a 270 in, but just listen to that, very nice too. The tractor is on oversized tyres, whether it's come back from Australia, I don't know, but Australia always liked wider tyres of a lower diameter than what we had in this country, so they bought their tractors in vast numbers from Dagenham with no wheels at all. When they got them over to Australia, they then cast the wheel centres, put the tyres on, and there you are. We'd saved on shipping weight, obviously. This is one of the later tractors. We've got the pressed steel front wheels. We've got the bars on the radiator grille, which are narrow-ways on. We've got the last model of mudguard stays in there, which are box section ones. What else have we got, which tells us it's got the 3-spoke steering wheel there. All tells me that that's a 1950s tractor, and as I say, it's had the Gardner engine fitted. It's got the Smith's 3-point linkage on the back. Now, when you bought that tractor, you've got the choice of the Smith's or the Barley lift. The Barley had 2 levers, one for lift down top and one for tip your trailer or whatever device you've got. This one has only got 1 lever and you fix the lift arm before you can tip your trailer. There we are. I think that's about enough about the tractor there. The second tractor here is the Twin City 4060. 1916. It's made by the Minneapolis Steel and Machinery Company at St. Paul's, Minnesota. It cost in 1916 $4,200 brand new. Weight is 13.5 tons, and we're expecting that poor little tractor there of a little over 2 tons to pull it. Speed is 2 miles per hour. Width is 10.5 feet. Horsepower on the drawbars 40 horsepower, and it's 65 brake horsepower. It'll pull 8 14-inch bottom plough. Revolutions is 500 a minute. Well, we've cut that down a bit for the purposes of this show because we didn't want to use too much film. So the revolutions per minute are 0. Cylinders 4 vertical and 7.25-inch diameter by 9-inch stroke. Valve arrangements is L head. Filled kerosene or gasoline. Ignition KW magneto with impulse starter. Lubrication, force fed and splash. Cooling system, pump recirculation, pulley face, 10.5 inches diameter, 23 inches, and RPM is 500. Transmission enclosed gears, traction, 2 wheels, 84 inches wide. That's 7 foot tall and 2 foot wide. Turning circle is 21 feet. There you are. I said you'd be amazed at my knowledge on that one. And I'm afraid I'm not even going to try to add to that. Now then, Mr. Desborough, who owns it, he always likes everything bigger than anybody else. And here we go, now he's got a bit more to tell you.
Instead of the inches, that's 27. It's 27 litres, but the reason that's on the chain, I put 4 gallons of petrol in before we went out the shed, left it running for 2 minutes and that's all gone. Before I had time to get it on the paraffin and we can't get it started again. So that's lack of petrol, but that has used 4 gallons from there to there. That's a 4LW Gardner in the Fordson, which is 80 horsepower, 20 horsepower cylinder.
Well, there we go. You've got the finishing touches on both of them. Thank you very much for bringing them. Now, will the old matey pull it? Yeah, I know, it's uphill now though. You've had the downhill bit. No. We will stop and ask you to jump off. Then it will go. Just listen at that. He didn't even have to open the tractor up. He just pulled it. Little skid marks he did make, look, he rolls them down again as he goes. How about that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is the end of the pre-1930s tractor. We got to this stage yesterday and 2 or 3 more came in. So I was actually a bit cautious by saying that that is the end of it, but it certainly looks like it. Thank you very much for your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, this young lady just presented me with a piece of paper. Now, she's not inviting me out, no such luck. Bungay Community Choir are performing in the exhibition arena at this moment. Please go and listen to them. But come back as soon as the cars come, because I want you here.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.